Hello and welcome to the She Reads Romance Books podcast, the ultimate show for romance book lovers looking for the best books worth reading. I'm your host, Leslie Murphy, and in each short episode, I share my favorite book list of recommendations so you know exactly what to add to your must-read list. Join me as I explore the romance genre and have fun collecting book boyfriends along the way, because life is better with a love story. Hello, readers. It is the month of June, if you can believe it. Time just keeps getting faster and faster, I swear. But if you are looking for the most anticipated new queer romance books that are going to be hitting shelves in 2025, then this is the episode for you. It's honestly perfect timing for this episode because this month for the She Reads Romance Books Reading Challenge, we are reading one queer romance book. So if you don't have a book picked out already, then this episode may give you a few to check out and or a few to still look forward to reading later this year. I've rounded up the hottest upcoming LGBTQ plus love stories that readers can't stop buzzing about for 2025. We're talking from swoony slow burns to heart-racing meet cutes. These new releases promise unforgettable characters, diverse representation, and all the feels. So fill up your TBR list with these must-read queer romance novels because, as you know, life is better with a love story. Now, in this episode, I'm just going to highlight a few that have been on my radar, but for the full list of all of the new queer romance books that I recommend that are releasing this year, make sure you click the link in the show notes or head over to shereadsromancebooks.com and check out the entire list. But the first new queer romance on my radar is Every Step She Takes by Allison Cochran, which releases on September 2nd, so we still have some time to look forward to this one. This is another romance that will inspire travel, like her hit from last year. And here's what it's about. 35-year-old Seattleite Sadie Wells needs an escape. She's desperate to escape her monotonous routines, the family business that has consumed her entire life, and the unexpected gay panic that has her questioning everything she thought she knew about herself. So when her injured sister offers Sadie her place on a tour along Portugal's Camino de Santiago, she decides this is the perfect chance to get away from it all. After 3 glasses of wine on the plane and some turbulence that convince Sadie she won't even survive the flight, she confesses all her secrets to her seatmate, Mal. The problem, the plane doesn't crash, and it turns out Mal is on her Camino tour. Worst of all, Sadie learns that she is on a tour specifically for queer women and that her 200-mile trek will be a journey of self-discovery, whether she wants it or not. Fascinated by the woman who drunkenly came out to her on the plane, Mal offers to help Sadie relive the queer adolescence she missed out on as they walk the Camino. As Sadie develops her newfound confidence, Mal grapples with a complicated loss and unexpected inheritance. But as their relationship blurs the lines between reality and practice, they both must decide if they will forever part at the end of the tour or chart a new course together. So honestly, it only took one book for me to fall in love with Allison Cochran's writing, and that book was The Charm Offensive, her debut novel. And last year's book, Here We Go Again, was also a total favorite of mine. There's just something really magical, I think, about her writing and her character development that makes the perfect story. So honestly, if she's writing it, then I'm going to read it. And I'm really excited for this new queer romance that is sort of about coming out and exploring your queerness, all while, I guess, on this 200-mile trek, it seems. I hope Sadie honestly did do some training before taking her sister's place on that trek because that's a heck of a lot of miles, but we shall see what comes of that on September 2nd when Every Step She Takes releases. The next queer romance I am excited to read is The Entanglement of Rival Wizards by Sarah Rosh, which releases this August. and it is being called an enemies to lovers fantasy academia rom-com where rival grad student wizards are forced to work together without killing or falling for each other. And here is what it is about. Sebastian Walsh, Evocation Department human, the first of his family to pick college over the military. Elethior Torel, if I'm saying that right, Conjuration Department, half elf, pretentious asshole. The latest legacy, Torel at Lazaria U, both Magi's research grant finalists. Wow, that's a mouthful. So Sebastian refuses to let anyone snatch this away, least of all a snob riding on old money. But what's worse than a nemesis stealing your grant? You could both get it under the condition you work together. Sebastian is in hell. Theo's broody, takes up their shared lab space with his projects and biceps, brings treats for Sebastian's familiar, and is nothing like Sebastian thought. When Sebastian's pass with the Torils forces him to choose his research or Theo, the decision should be simple, but while working with his rival is volatile, falling for his rival might blow up Sebastian's future. I think I totally butchered that summary, but I'm super excited to read this new queer romance nonetheless. It kicks off a brand new series by Sarah, so I'm really excited to dive in. I'm just think, as a fantasy romance, she just sort of is carving this niche out in that sort of category of romance. I've already read 2 of her fantasy romances in her Royals in Romance series, which started with last year's hit, The Nightmare Before Christmas, followed by Go Luck Yourself, which is another new queer romance that you should read because it dropped earlier this year in March. Both were fantastic. And after reading them, I was like, where has this author been all my life? Her writing is just so fun and quirky, which is why I'm really excited to dive into my advanced reader copy of The Entanglement of Rival Wizards, because if it's honestly anything like those 2 prior books that I read, it's going to be great and really hard to put down. Plus, of course, I love a really good enemies to lovers story. Can't say that I've ever read one about rival wizards, so this will definitely be a first, and I'm super psyched. The next book on my list is already out and available, and that is The Last Guy on Earth by Serena Bowen. It's honestly been way, way too long since I read a gay hockey romance by Serena because she is honestly just the master of this category of romance, in my opinion, which is why I will be circling back to this queer romance ASAP. And here is what it is about. One cold December day, 2 men are blindsided by a hockey trade. One is the most decorated goalie in the league, while the other one is the youngest coach in the majors. Jethro Hale is the last player Coach Clay Powers wants to see on his roster, but the GM pulls a fast one, and it's not like he can even explain why. Nobody knows about their love affair 15 years ago. Cue the all-star awkwardness, the painful memories, and the reawakening of deep feelings on both sides. Unfortunately, their attraction still burns brightly, but it can never be. A player and a coach, the scandal would overshadow the team's banner year. If only they could resist each other. Yep, pretty much you only had to say hockey queer romance and Serena Bowen together in the same sentence, and I'm in. I like that this one has the coach, player power dynamic, and that it's a second chance romance, though if I'm guessing, their first love affair must have been, maybe when they were teens, if Coach Clay is the youngest coach in the majors. That has me kind of intrigued and I need to know more. So, yep, The Last Guy on Earth is definitely on my TBR list this year. Next up is the new queer romance from all-star Alexandria Bellafleur, which is, I believe, her first paranormal queer romance, and that is The Devil She Knows, which releases this October. And here is what it is about. Samantha Cooper is having a day from hell. In less than 24 hours, her life has unraveled. leaving her single and with nowhere to live. Adding insult to injury, she's trapped in an elevator with a gorgeous woman claiming to be a demon. Daphne is not at all what Samantha expected from someone claiming to be an evil supernatural entity. She's pretty, witty, dressed in pink, and smells nice, and she's here to offer Samantha a deal she can't refuse. 6 wishes in exchange for one tiny trade: Samantha's soul. There's a glaring loophole in their contract, one Samantha fully intends to exploit so she doesn't fork over her soul. After all, she only needs one wish to win her ex back. Hellbent to gather the last of the 1,000 souls she needs so that she can be free of her own devilish deal, Daphne grants each of Samantha's wishes with a twist so that Samantha is forced to make another. As Samantha's wishes dwindle and Daphne offers her glimpses into the life she thought she wanted, the unlikely pair grows close. Perhaps the girl of Samantha's dreams is actually the stuff of nightmares, but Samantha and Daphne will have to outsmart the devil himself if they want a chance at happily ever after. This is so freaking cute, you guys. I personally am of the generation that grew up when Disney's Aladdin first hit theaters, that animation hit. And of course, I always ask myself, what would I do if I had 3 wishes from a genie? Well, in this book, Samantha has 6 wishes from a demon, and I'm so curious to know what they are since her life is going up in flames and how they get twisted around, probably because she's not like super specific enough, or I don't know. It just looks like such a fun book for the fall, particularly to enjoy around Halloween time. So I hope that you dive into it with me later this year. Okay, another queer romance that I'm really interested in reading is My Best Friend's Honeymoon by Meryl Wilsner. This book is available now as it released at the end of April, and here is what it's about. Elsie Hoffman has been engaged to her college boyfriend for a year and a half. Ginny Holtz has been in love with Elsie for almost a decade and a half. When Elsie discovers her fiancé already planned their wedding and honeymoon as a surprise, and she's expected to be in a white dress in 7 days, she swiftly realizes she's let herself become too comfortable with a future she never wanted. She breaks things off and a week later is on a plane to the Caribbean for her non-refundable honeymoon with her best friend Ginny instead. Ginny thinks it's high time Elsie learned how to speak up for herself, so they make a deal with her. For the next week, Elsie can have whatever she wants, wherever, however, and whenever she wants it, as long as she asks. They never expected Elsie to want them. What starts as choosing activities and taking selfies soon turns to toe-curling kisses and much, much more. But what happens when the honeymoon is over? I think this is like the perfect new queer romance for those readers who love friends to lovers romance, especially. I'm all about someone finding their voice, especially when it comes to what they want, inside and outside of the bedroom. I like that Ginny encourages Elsie to do just that. And now I'm curious to know how spicy these two are going to get. So we shall see. Looking forward to diving into this one here in 2025. Okay, let me see. I think I have one more that I wanted to highlight. So the next new queer romance that looks super cute is A Mannequin for Christmas by Timothy Janofsky. So he has already had one new queer romance release out this year already, Once Upon You and Me. But A Mannequin for Christmas releases at the end of September, and here is what that book is about. Henry Astor swears he is unlucky when it comes to love. He thought he'd finally found the one, but a sudden breakup has left him hopeless right before the holiday season. Facing another family Christmas alone, Henry makes a wish for the perfect man. The next morning, when he arrives at the Jersey Shore vintage shop he manages, he finds one of the male display mannequins has sprung to life and entirely wrecked the place. The magic man is gorgeous, of course, but he comes with a Cinderella-style caveat. If he doesn't experience true human love before the midnight chime on New Year's Eve, he will turn back into a mannequin for good. Now Henry doesn't have to show up to family Christmas alone. The catch, this new man, self-named Aiden Smith, knows nothing about being a human. Henry has 1 month to teach Aiden how to be a functioning person in the modern world and the swoony boyfriend that will win over his family. It's an arduous task that draws them close together, but can human love ever really be true? What I love about Timothy's books is that he really brings out the nostalgia in me. I read Never Been Kissed, which I think was his debut novel a few years ago. And that book totally revived my love of drive-in movie theaters, which, it's just a shame that there really are so few of those around anymore. And so the first thing that I thought of when I saw A Mannequin for Christmas was the movie Mannequin from the 1980s, starring Kim Cattrall and Andrew McCarthy. I mean, I loved that movie about a female mannequin coming to life in front of the man who is a window dresser for a department store. It is iconic, right? So, yeah, since I love that movie, I immediately had to add Timothy's book to my TBR list. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm hoping that it's going to be hilarious when Aiden has to learn how to be a human and a fake boyfriend. And that is, one of my favorite micro tropes in romance, the fake relationship for the holidays to get the nagging family off your back. So, yeah, just another reason to pick up this new queer romance this holiday season, Mannequin for Christmas by Timothy Janofsky. So those are some of my most anticipated new queer romance books for 2025. I kind of flew through them, but as I said earlier, I have an entire list of 25 new queer romance books on shereadsromancebooks.com. So for even more, be sure that you click the link or check out the entire book list on my website. So many more great ones I just didn't have time to really cover today, but that I want you to know about. So please go check out the full list. Again, don't forget that for the month of June, we are reading one queer romance for the She Reads Romance Book Reading Challenge. I hope you will join me in the challenge this month and that you'll share your book selection, either maybe in my private Facebook group, the She Reads Romance Book Reader Lounge, or you can shoot me an email. I'd love to hear it. And of course, to keep track of all of these new romance books, be sure to snag your copy of the Romance Book Reading Journal, the journal, planner, tracker, all in one that comes in either a printable version, paperback, or hardcover. Just click the link in the show notes or head over to the website and grab your copy today. But also, before you do that, before you leave, be sure to leave me a quick review of this podcast on your favorite podcast platform. I really don't ask that a lot, but if you just left even just a sentence note, I would so appreciate it. It would mean a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in into today's episode. Until next time, happy reading because life is better with a love story. That's all for this episode of the She Reads Romance Books podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and found some new books to add to your TBR list. If you did, please subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. It really helps me reach more romance book lovers like you, and I appreciate your support. If you're a book boyfriend collector like me, then you'll want to join my email list so you never miss a podcast episode or a new book list. Just visit shereadsromancebooks.com/join and sign up today. As a thank you, I'll instantly send you my list of top 10 book boyfriends that will make you swoon. Trust me, you don't want to miss this list. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.